JBN, we keep you informed. I am Michelle Jones, and in the news, man shot dead by police in Manchester. A man was shot dead in an alleged confrontation with police in Manchester on Tuesday morning. A gun was reportedly seized in the incident. Preliminary reports from police sources say shortly after 6 a.m., a police team was on an operation in the community of Elliston near Spurtree when the cops were confronted by an armed man. He was shot and pronounced dead at hospital. Windshield wiper shot dead in St. Andrew. A windshield wiper is dead after he was shot multiple times by men aboard a motorcycle at the intersection of Dunrobin Avenue and Constant Spring Road in St. Andrew. The incident occurred in the vicinity of a Total gas station. The victim has been identified as Maurice Smith. It is reported that the windshield wiper was standing on the median along the roadway, talking to fellow washers, when the pillion on the motorcycle fired several shots, hitting him. He was rushed to hospital, where he was pronounced dead. The biker then sped off in the direction of Washington Boulevard. The incident caused a pileup of traffic on Constant Spring Road. The Constant Spring police are investigating. Westmoreland police seized gun and ammo. The Westmoreland police seized an illegal gun and ammunition during an operation in Farm Pen, Westmoreland on Tuesday morning. Reports are that a team of police officers was on mobile patrol duties when the lawmen observed a group of men standing in a yard. As the police approached the men, one of the men is said to have run off. He was chased by the police and an object fell from his waistband. The item was retrieved, inspected, and found to be a black polymer P80 combat firearm with no visible mark or serial number. The gun was found to be loaded with a magazine containing 7 live 9mm cartridges. The man, however, managed to elude the police. Charges pending against man in Halfway Tree shooting. Charges are expected to be laid today against the man who shot 2 women in Halfway Tree, St. Andrew on Monday night. The investigators are looking at charges of illegal possession of firearm and shooting with intent. Those are 2 of the charges they'll be looking at. I don't know if there will be others. Head of the Jamaica Constabulary Force Communications Unit, Senior Superintendent Stephanie Lindsay, said. She said the women are in stable condition in hospital and their injuries are not life-threatening. The women were shot on North Odeon Avenue in the commercial district sometime after 7 p.m. The police reported that they saw the man and requested a search, but he reportedly ran and allegedly pulled a gun and opened fire at the cops. The police gave chase and apprehended the man, whose identity they have not yet released. The women who were awaiting transportation were shot in the incident. Dolphin Furniture and Appliance Store robbed for the second time in a week. For the second time in just over a week, the Dolphin Furniture and Appliance Store at Phillips Plaza in Santa Cruz, St. Elizabeth, was the scene of an armed robbery. According to police reports, at about 11 yesterday morning, 2 men posing as customers entered the appliance store, pulled guns and demanded cash from the operator. However, the store owner, an Indian national, failed to hand over cash, and it's reported that the robbers stole a cell phone from one of the workers. Just over a week ago on October 14, shortly before closing time, 2 men posing as customers entered the store, reportedly pulled guns and ordered store employees to lie on the floor. The men then demanded cash from the store owner, who handed over cash estimated at $600,000 and jewelry valued at $500,000. The 2 robbers then fled on foot. Since the start of the year, more than 3 daring daylight robberies involving Chinese and Indian nationals have taken place in the town of Santa Cruz. Police disrupt car stealing ring in St. Andrew. Police disrupted a major car stealing ring in Red Hills, St. Andrew yesterday. Detectives from the St. Andrew North Police conducted an operation in the Adamstown area of Red Hills when they made the discovery. According to the police, 1 man was arrested. Station commander for the Red Hills Police Station, Detective Inspector Colin Berger, says the operation led to the recovery of several vehicles which were reportedly stolen from as far as Clarendon. Several of the vehicles appeared to be scrapped. Detective Inspector Colin Berger, Station Commander for the Red Hills Police Station, speaking earlier today.
Acting on information, the St. Andrew North Police led an operation into the Adams Lawn area of Red Hills, which saw to the recovery of several vehicles reported stolen between the St. Andrew North, South, Central, and the Clarendon Division. 1 man has been taken into custody. Investigations continue.
November 17 court date for cop who left infant daughter in car. A November 17 return date has been set for the policeman charge of the death of his daughter who was left in his car at his workplace at the Black River Police Station in St. Elizabeth. Bail was further extended for Detective Sergeant Sheldon Dobson, who is charged with manslaughter, when he appeared before the St. Elizabeth Parish Court at Balaclava today. He is charged in relation to the death of his 1-year-old daughter. Attorney at Law Thomas Levine, who is representing Dobson, said that presiding Judge Roderick Smith set the November 17 date to allow enough time for documents from the prosecution to be served on the defense. The clerk indicated that the file is complete, and on November 17, a hearing date is to be set for the judge to determine if the matter will be heard in the circuit court in March 2023, Levine explained. According to reports, on January 18 this year, Dobson was expected to take his daughter to daycare, but he allegedly forgot and went to work at the Black River Police Station at 8 a.m., leaving her in his car. The child was found unconscious in the car hours later and was rushed to hospital where she was pronounced dead. In June, the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions ruled that Dobson should be charged in relation to the child's death. He made his first appearance before the St. Elizabeth Parish Court in Santa Cruz on August 15, where he was granted bail in the sum of $750,000 with surety. Mom blasts Kemsale High as footballer son hospitalized for weeks. Administrators at Kemsale High have come under fire for allegedly failing to inform a mother that her son was injured in a football match amid subsequent mounting hospitalization and treatment expenses she has had to shoulder. Eugenie Brown said that her son, Raheem Reed, injured his knee in the opening match of the DeCosta Cup on Saturday, September 10 at Sabina Park against Garvey Masio High, and was allegedly kept in the dark that he was taken to Lioneltown Hospital. Raheem reportedly collapsed the following day and was again taken to Maple Hospital, where he has been admitted since then. He has been hospitalized for more than a month. Her son, who was boarded at the school since summer, was also diagnosed with leptospirosis and dengue. The teenager has undergone tests costing $31,000, with cumulative expenses nearing $50,000. The mother's appealed to school authorities for assistance, but has reportedly been snubbed. It hard pa me. My sister pay 2 bills for me and say she can't manage to pay no more. When I did bill at $21,000 and one at $13,000, and right now me have another $13,000 I forgot pay, and no compensation from the school, the single mother lamented of his prolonged leptospirosis treatment. When contacted, Kemsale High Principal Vernon Morrison declined comment. However, Barrington Richardson, Regional Director for Region 7 in the Ministry of Education and Youth, said there have been conflicting accounts. We are collecting the reports because the parent came into our office and met with the officer, and she advised her to send us a medical report to substantiate her claim because it's just a verbal report. The school is saying that they are not aware of any injury during the match. The parent is saying there was an injury, the director said. Brown believes that her son contracted leptospirosis at the school dorm, but Richardson said he'd received reports that the 18-year-old was between places and may have been infected elsewhere. Richardson sought to assure her that the ministry would intervene once it received documentation to substantiate the claims. The Region 7 director said he has already got a report from the school, the coach, 2 students, as well as the guidance counselor. We are awaiting a report from the mother so we can submit to Central Ministry for their review and guidance on the matter, said Richardson. Keith Wellington, president of the Inter-Secondary School Sports Association, which has oversight of the DeCosta Cup, said while he could not comment on the specific match incident, there are standard operating protocols on how football injuries should be handled. If a student suffers an injury, whether at school or presenting the school or the compound or whatever, then obviously the ministry has a safety and security guideline that speaks the matter has been reported to the nurse and medical attention being sought, parents informed, and authorized in medical procedure as it relates to the treatment of the child, especially if the child is a minor, he said. Farmer charged for an arson attack that killed St. Mary mother and daughter. A 50-year-old farmer has been charged for the arson attack that led to the death of a woman and her daughter in Dean Pen, Highgate, St. Mary 1 week ago. Daniel Spike has been charged with 2 counts of murder, arson, and 5 counts of attempted murder. Spike was charged Monday by homicide detectives attached to the St. Mary Police Division. He was picked up shortly after fire destroyed the house of 38-year-old Rose Beach last week Tuesday. Beach and her daughter, 4-year-old Saharan Cohen, died when a Molotov cocktail was thrown into their 3-bedroom board structure. Saharan died in the flames, while Beecher died at hospital. 5 other family members were treated for injuries. Indecom urges security forces to assess their reliance on lethal force. The Independent Commission of Investigations, Indecom, says the security forces should seek to determine if there is an over-reliance on lethal force in the execution of their duties. Indecom Commissioner Hugh Faulkner says this is among several questions which need to be answered following the increase in police fatal shootings since January. Mr. Faulkner on Monday disclosed that there have been 19 such shootings so far in October. The Indecom Commissioner, who was speaking in an interview this morning on Power 106, noted that the figure is already higher than the previous months, even though October has not yet ended. Giving a snippet of some of the previous month's figures, Faulkner said there were 8 fatalities in January and 13 in February. April had 9 such incidents, while July and August both had 15. There were 13 fatal shootings in September. According to Faulkner, the security forces should decide if refresher training on public interactions is needed. He suggested that there are those who believe that because of the high incidence of gun crimes in the country, the law enforcement bodies should be judge, jury, and executioner or act with impunity. But he insisted that despite Jamaica's violent environment, every attempt should be made to use non-lethal tactics to de-escalate a situation. The most recent case of a police fatal shooting occurred on Sunday when a wanted man, Twain Morrison, was killed in a tussle with police in St. Elizabeth. In sports news, Bonnie credits going to comforted City. Jamaica's reggae girl Khadija Bonnie Shaw is imposing her will in the English top-flight Women's Super League, which she credits to be more comfortable with Manchester City and a belief in herself. The near future focus of Shaw includes next summer's Women's World Cup in New Zealand and Australia, but in the meantime, she registered her second consecutive brace in the Super League for Manchester City in their 3-love dispatch of Tottenham Hotspur on Saturday at Brisbane Road. Shaw's brace takes her to 5 league goals, including the early race of the Golden Boot. Shaw said after the game that her adjustment to the team's playing style, as well as renewed confidence, has given her the freedom to stamp her mark this early in the season. I think at the beginning, it was trying to learn the style of the play and know my teammates. It's hard when we have a bad start and with injuries and things like that. Coming into the new season, now that I've had the experience on the first, I just believed in myself more and I trust my teammates. So I think that is just the biggest difference, Shaw said. The match featured Shaw's national teammates Drew Spence and goalkeeper Rebecca Spencer, who failed to stop her. Shaw provided Manchester City with the lead 4 minutes before halftime. She was on the end of a corner before doubling the advantage 2 minutes into the second half with a low strike into the bottom corner. Lauren Hemp added another in the 76th minute as City won back-to-back games for the first time this season. At this stage in her first season last year, Shaw had only scored 1 goal in 4 games, and City were in a run of bad form to start the year. Now she has scored 5 in her first 4 games and 7 goals in all competitions so far. While not explicitly stating that the Golden Boot was one of her targets for her sophomore year, she says that it is expected that the responsibility would fall on her to be the goal-scoring engine for Manchester City in their quest for the league title. The position I play, the team looks for me to score goals. I've been working on the training pitch, being at the end of crosses and perfecting what I'm good at. I try to take it game by game, and going into each game, I try to achieve my objectives, and luckily for me today, that was one of them. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.